Everybody, welcome back to my channel, and thank you so much for tuning in to today's video series called Way Out Wednesdays, the acronym of WOW. And today is going to be a little bit of a wow video. If you're new here, thanks so much for tuning in. I am Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic medium, and I'm channeling with my guides. I'm participating in this message by allowing them to have 60% of my faculties and I get 40%. Now, why do I do that? Well, because I've channeled 100% before, and it's really kind of off-putting, and the guides say the message is not very human. So they like this. They like the idea that I can bring my own human personality or translation of what they're saying to the message. So they feel like humans absorb the message better, basically is what they say. So today we're going to talk, and I cannot believe I'm saying this, but I don't know. This is where we are, folks. If you're a regular viewer, you understand what I'm saying. I'm going to be talking about discernment. Now, when I say that, I feel like if you ever even for a second watch sports and someone steps up and the announcer goes, oh, they're going to do the triple blah, 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 X, Z, Y. And the crowd steps back like, are they going to do this? This is big. Like, will they make it? And the crowd is murmuring, should she do this? I don't know, right? This is what's happening right now. The guides are like, oh, really? Oh, you're going to talk about discernment. Oh, that's good. Like when your kid says that they're going to, take their bike and jump off the curb and do a backflip. And you're like, okay, let me check my insurance. I'll be right back before we do this, right? So here we are, discernment. Now, listen, this is not a masterclass. You guys know this. This is a dot. I often tell you guys that we're connecting the dots. In your life, you're going to be connecting the dots. You're going to be putting another data point there. And when you have enough of them, you connect all the dots and you get some kind of crazy Rorschach thing that you don't understand still, but at least you've connected the dots. So today we're going to connect the dots a little bit. Now I'm going to go about this a little bit differently because, well, this is how I got here today. And I want to use this story analogy experience that I had to help you understand how in one area of your life, you really have to be a little bit careful trusting your gut, trusting your intuition. I know everybody's like, oh my God, Susan has done nothing but tell us to trust our gut. Literally, here's all the videos. She said, trust your gut, trust your gut, trust your gut. Now she's saying, don't trust your gut. I did. I said it, you guys, because guess what? We are on a learning planet. This is an expert level learning planet. I already told you guys this. Check your tickets wherever you lost them. I don't know. Maybe they're in the shorts you wore yesterday. Find them. Okay. Your ticket is an expert level planet. Honey, what does that mean? It means that nothing is really as it seems, and that things have multiple meanings, and that depending on how much you uncover or how much you learn, there's more to learn. So let's talk about when you should trust your gut, when you should ask questions before trusting your gut. Now, all of us are psychic. I've told you guys this, we're all psychic, but some of us are more, we have psychic abilities in different ways. Like for instance, in your family, there's probably one of you guys that listens to music and one that doesn't care, one that watches movies, one that doesn't care, one that is artistic, one that's not, one that does math, one that's not. We all have our own unique abilities, whether it's, hey, I've got a great sense of direction, or I'm a really good cook and I don't know how, but I know what spices to put in. Okay, we seem to accept that in our humanity. But when it comes to the psychic abilities, I find that many of us want to have the psychic ability they don't have. Maybe that's true in our human lives as well, right? I have a terrible sense of direction. I wish I had one, but I don't. So in your psychic abilities, in your intuitive abilities, let's just call them intuitive abilities. Some of us are empaths, empathic. We feel things, we sense things. We don't know how, we just feel that this person is going to do this, or we feel it's going to be a rainy weekend. Well, how do you know? I don't know. I feel it. We used to say, I feel it in my bones, right? Like whatever that means, right? Okay. Some of us have thoughts knowings. I just know. How do you know? I don't know. I just know. And you get to a certain age, you realize that when you just know that 99% of the time, you're right. So when you say, I just know, everyone around you has learned to just go with it, right? Because 99% of the time, you're right. That's not you being practical. That's not you being pragmatic. That's you getting psychic knowings called claircognizance, okay? Psychic feeling is clairsentience. Okay, now, regardless of whether you have psychic knowing, psychic seeing, psychic feeling, psychic hearing, tasting, whatever, regardless, sometimes, even if you're not that much of a feeling, because I don't know, I wouldn't say that psychic feeling is my highest psychic ability. My biggest is psychic knowing. My second biggest is psychic seeing. Probably my third biggest is psychic hearing. And probably my fourth is psychic feeling. So it's not in the top of how I interact with the world through my psychic abilities. Okay. So now you understand. If you tell me, Susan, I don't get gut instincts, I don't get feelings, I'm there with you. And yet here we are, you and me having this conversation, right? So just bear with me here because I need to explain this to you. So yes, trust your guidance. I always tell you guys, what I suggest you do is not just get one guidance, one sign, pull one set of cards, whatever, get one reading. I want you guys to get a few indications that, yes, this is the right way to go. One mistake that I've made is that being the Virgo I am and being the claircognizant that I am and the problem solver, pragmatic, practical thinker, that I am, I'm always looking for solutions. I'm always looking to solve something. I enjoy it, right? It turns out that my guides were like, when you're always looking to solve something, that you attract problems to solve. I'm like, for real? I mean, are y'all for real? They're like, yeah, it's a attracted universe. That thing, magnetic, Susan, we talked about this like 7,000 times. I'm like, yeah, but I enjoy it. They're like, hey, go for it, girlfriend. We're just trying to point out the obvious. So welcome to my world with the guides. Okay. Now, let me talk to you about what happened because I'm just going to explain it like this. Maybe you can understand it. So the first thing they want to say is, look, get a lot of guidance. Don't just get one piece of guidance and go running off to solve the problem the way I used to do. Because then it wouldn't solve the problem. And then I would be like, but I got guidance. Like a kid, but I got an A on this test. Well, honey, you still flunked the course because you got F's on all the other tests. So get more guidance, okay, before you take action. And again, I'll say it again, write it down. Because if you get guidance and you don't write it down, it didn't happen. I'm going to tell you right now, it didn't happen. You're going to go on. I used to tell the guides, I get it, I got it. And then I realized every time I say I got it, I didn't get it because I was cleaning the bathtub and they gave me some guidance. And I was like, oh, I got it. Oh my God, that makes so much sense. And then I go back to scrubbing the bathtub 5 minutes later. I have no idea what they said to me because my thinking brain is completely different than my subconscious, which is the conduit for the messages, right? So once you have that crack in your subconscious through all the thinking, and they're able to slide a message in, which is a miracle in and of itself, that closes and you go back into your thinking world. And your brain is like, do you know what this is? I don't know what filing cabinet does this go in? I don't know. Do we have a filing cabinet? Fred, do we have a filing cabinet? No, we don't have a filing cabinet. I'm going to throw it away. I don't know what it is. It must be for somebody else. That's what happens. Write it down. You're going to surprise yourself. You're going to blow your own mind if you just write down everything. Everything. I saw a shooting star, write it down. I heard a song that stuck in my head, write it down. Somebody said something weird to me, write it down. I had a bizarre, out of left field thought, write it down. Write it all down. It'll make sense at some later point. Okay, now let's move on to discernment and trusting your gut. So the experience that I had, and I don't know how else to tell you this except for just to explain it like this and let you kind of figure out what it means to you, right? Like take this experience that I had and understand for you what it means for you. Okay. Yeah, this is work. Nobody said this wasn't going to be work. Hello. Okay. So interestingly enough, now, so you notice a new background if you're a regular viewer. I'm like Goldilocks. I'm going around the mountains, like testing all the mountain air and the streams, going, yeah, it's not quite right. I go to the next one. So yes, I'm in a new place, and I'll be in a new place next week. And then I'll be back in Texas and I'll be seeking a therapist. Please apply. So here's the thing. I was in and this is why I had a crack in my thinking, because I am an overthinker, right? Like I have a membership. We call ourselves the Overthinkers Anonymous because they're all attracted to me because I'm an overthinker. Like they get me. I get them. We get each other. So I'm on this kind of extended work vacation, meaning I'm spending a lot of time in nature. I'm spending a lot of time where my soul is happy. Okay. When that happens, you sort of have these cracks, more cracks open so that your subconscious can get some daylight, right? So that your spirit guides can give you messages. Now, these things can happen. You can open your subconscious to allow messages many different ways. You can meditate, you can play music, you can exercise, you can walk in nature, you can have a hobby. Anything that your mind wanders, anything that your mind is free to just wander is a perfect example, a perfect opportunity for the subconscious to have a conversation with you and your spirit guides to drop in some much needed guidance. Okay. When we're always thinking and always figuring things out and always problem solving, that is not fertile ground for the spirit guides to give you any help. Okay. So now here's what happened. So as I said, I'm sort of testing out some different areas to think, I wonder if I could live here. I wonder how I would like this, right? So something that's been puzzling me is that I am drawn to New Mexico. Now, if you're a longtime viewer, you know that I usually go to New Mexico in the summer and I spend a month or 6 weeks there because it's just like, it feels like home to me. And really, someone said something that really made sense to me. They said, Susan, this is your spiritual home. It's not your home. It's your spiritual home. So I was like, well, that fits, right? That makes sense. It's almost like going to church for me. It's almost like a pilgrimage, right? I go to New Mexico and I feel some kind of way for whatever reason. Now, the interesting thing was, I really would have already moved to New Mexico, right? I mean, if you feel this strongly about something, now here we're talking about feelings. I just want to point that out to you. I feel so strongly. I feel so at home. I feel at peace, right? I feel all these things there. And yet, when I was making these plans to travel this summer, well, honestly, last summer, if you watched my videos, you'll see that I literally I had a very unusual and I'm going to say frightening, because I'm telling you guys, I left there like a bat out of HE double toothpicks. Like, hey, I don't need to spend the rest of my time at this Airbnb. Y'all are great. Love you. Take good care. Driving off of me and Zoe. I did a video about it, but I honestly didn't tell you half of what had happened. So it involved something along the lines of The Exorcist mixed with ETs. Okay, just put it that way. So I was like, wow, I'm never going back to that part of New Mexico. I'm not going to tell you where it is because I don't think you would have the same experience. I think it was me. I aligned with this thing, and the spirit guides wanted to send me a message. Okay, so it's not going to happen to you guys. It's not going to happen to everybody. It was because the spirit guides needed me to experience this, first of all, because it was part of my part of my degree program, but also because they wanted me to not go back to New Mexico. Now, why? Now, so again, discernment, right? Okay, so this is all kind of confusing, right? Like, I love New Mexico. New Mexico is my spiritual home. What gives, guides? What gives? What is the problem? I got nothing. All I got was, when I made this plan to come out this summer, when I looked at New Mexico, they were like, no. I felt no. I felt a heaviness. No. I'm clairaudient, which is psychic hearing. I heard the word no. I mean, these guides weren't playing. They weren't even like trying to pretend that I had free will. Well, I do have free will, but they were giving me as pretty good of an answer as they could possibly give me. So it's been puzzling me. So I'm like, okay, I'm trying to be more compliant. Those that you watch me normally know what I'm talking about. I think this is why you guys watch me, because I'm very human. I'm not an ascended master. I'm a freaking fallible human trying to do our best. Like basically a toddler adult being mastered by these like very amazing spirit guides. It's probably quite, it should be a TV show. Anyway, so here we are. I did not go to New Mexico. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Do not get out of jail free. Fine. I threw a fit. Of course I did. I'm like, fine, I will go to Colorado. Never been to Colorado. I've been to Wyoming and Montana and New Mexico and blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go to Colorado. It's got mountains. I'm sure it's supposed to be amazing. So here I am in Colorado. And again, I'm doing the Goldilocks, right? I'm going to different parts of the mountains and different cities. And I'm, kind of trying on things for size and that kind of, seeing how my energy fits, right? How does my energy feel here? An interesting thing even happened this morning, which is what the whole nexus of this very long-winded conversation is about. I promise. Hopefully it'll be worth the payoff. Maybe not, but hopefully it will. So here's what happened this morning. I'm driving. Now, Colorado is blessed. I mean, y'all are blessed for real, for real. Like, I am gobsmacked at the natural beauty here. Just gobsmacked. So I was driving in this place that was more high desert and very New Mexico-like, right? Very New Mexico-like. And I was like, oh, I love the smell of this, and I love how this feels, and I would love to live in it. And then I thought, wait a minute, wait just a darn minute. I'm in Colorado. It's the same environment as New Mexico, but it's not New Mexico. So it must not be the state of New Mexico that is not good for me. Right? I mean, here's the same environment in a different state, and they're not saying no. Well, I mean, it's another story. But anyway, so I was talking to my spirit guides and I said, okay, what gives? I don't understand this. And they said to me, rivers, lakes, and streams. Rivers, lakes, and streams. I'm like, I know. I love rivers, lakes, and streams. And I love trees. I love water. And so that was it. Like they blessed me with rivers, lakes, and streams, and then they went and got coffee or something. I don't know. So I'm like, okay, what in the heck is happening here? So what I figured out was, and with their help, they didn't really go get a coffee. I mean, they can get a coffee like that. What they told me was, and this is totally fascinating to me. So I had a past life in this type of climate, in this arid, high desert type of climate. High desert, high elevation, not the Sonora. I mean, not desert. It's a very specific thing, right? Rocks, sparse trees, high desert. I had a past life there, and it was actually one of my favorite past lives. And it so coincides with what I'm doing right now. In that past life, it was just me and a horse. And I would travel through, and I was male, of course, and I would travel through this high desert. And I think it was in New Mexico, but also adjacent. A lot of, all of these states have bits and pieces of the same terrain, right? We just draw a line around them and call it Montana or New Mexico. So, but in this life, I was traversing is the word they want to use, the high desert. It was me and a horse. And I really was so attached to this horse because, right, when you're in the middle of nowhere, your horse is your lifeline. If you don't have a horse, you're not walking out of there. And if the horse doesn't have you, it's not. So it's really a very symbiotic relationship. You get to be very close when you realize that we're in this place where life and death is coexist with a blade of a grass, just a thin blade between life and death. You get very connected to whatever or whomever you're traversing that land with, or that situation with. This is sort of like even going through war. You get very connected to those people because you realize your life depends on them, their life depends on you. So how interesting that here I am traversing this high desert with a dog, by myself with a dog, very similar energy of traveling with one other animal by myself. Very, very interesting. I'm literally mirroring this past life right now in this timeline of my current life. Okay. Now, here's why that's really important. I'm ascribing my love, my deep feeling of love and home in this life to that same topography based on my past life. Not based on what I'm supposed to be doing in this life, not based on who I am in this life, a woman in 2023, based on being a man in 1843 or whatever it was, right? So the past life energy is sort of bleeding over into my current life. And because I love that, I loved that life, I want to replicate it. I want to do it again. I want to go back to this high desert. So in this case, I feel strongly attracted to this topography. Yet I can't make myself live there. I can't seem to be able to live there. Even if I wasn't getting guidance from my guides, it just doesn't work out. It just doesn't work out time and again. Like I told you, they basically ran me out of the last time I went to New Mexico. I mean, I don't know when they're going to let me in again. Because I was like, can I just go in for a little visit? Just a weekend. They're like, no. Like, golly, you don't have to yell, But anyway, so you can see how this energy that I'm feeling, whether you're aware of it or not, you can tell me, oh, I never have feelings. I never feel energy. Honey, you better just take a seat and think about that, because I promise you, you've done it. It's just that your brain didn't allow you to think about it as psychic or intuitive energy. Your brain said, whatever, she's feeling something, she'll get over it. She'll get over it. She'll be fine tomorrow. She'll forget all about this by dinner. Let's make her think about, something really good for dinner. She'll be fine. Right? So you do feel things. And again, think about the times when you think about, you said, I feel he's going to get the job, or I just feel like it's going to rain today. Pay attention to how you talk to yourself. I know it's going to rain. I just know it's going to be a gully washer. How do you know? Don't know. I see her graduating early. How do you know that? I don't know. I just see it. Our society has allowed us to use these terminology without accepting that it's psychic. We don't ask questions, do we? So the lesson here is that your past lives really do influence your current life. And depending on where you are in your current life, they can influence it even more. Okay, so if, like, another bizarre thing that happened to me in this totally bizarre Alice in Wonderland trip that I'm on, I was driving through another part of Colorado, and it was really unfortunate because there was a little road through the mountains, and it was road construction, right? So I had to sit there for 45 minutes. As I was sitting there in this beautiful vista, I thought, I literally had the thought, I'm going to die. There's death. I feel like death. Now, I'm not talking about a war that happened or some other thing that happened in the past. I'm talking about spirits. I'm talking about me. I felt. Now, you could also say, well, is this a metaphorical death? Meaning, Susan, you're going through changes. You're really, the old you is not you anymore. You're becoming a new you. And because you're parked and you can't do anything but just sit and just wonder about things, this is available to you, right? That's very possible, right? You're offline. There's no internet. There's no radio. You're offline. What does that mean? We talked about this. Your brain is out to lunch. Now, spirit guides can drop some information in, right? So yes, it's quite possible that feeling that could be that I'm feeling a metaphorical death. Very possible. Again, what's the title of this thing? Discernment. This is about discernment. So I went deeper, right? I had nothing else to do. So I went deeper. I'm like, let me go into this. Let me feel this. Let me know more about this. Let me check in with it. However, whatever words you want to use, doesn't matter. There is no instruction manual. I already did a video about this. You got to just figure this stuff out on your own. I swear to God, I did a video called There Is No Instruction Manual. It's in my WOW series. So check in with myself. And I'm like, no, this is not metaphorical. I freaking died here. It got died right over there. So I had a past life where I died in this area. I'm like, oh, this is too much. Please flag me forward. I got to go. I don't have time for this. So yes, how does that past life affect you in this life? It can give you the heebie-jeebies. It can make the hair stand on your neck. It can make you feel uncomfortable. You may find that whenever you visit a certain city, you're like, I don't like that city. I never liked that city. Maybe it's a beautiful city, but you don't like it. Can't explain it. You don't ever want to visit again. If you have to, you just do it, but you never feel comfortable. Likewise, there are places you're drawn to that you feel, like me in New Mexico, right? Like I also have a similar feeling towards Greece. Like I was lucky enough to go to Greece and I thought, this is it, man. This is where I want to live, right? Now, not practically, no. The Susan that is alive in this timeline, no. But I knew that there was something magical about Greece to me that was more so than any place I've ever visited to that point. Therefore, that's energy. So you can see how I'm talking about it. If you have an interest, let's call it energy. If you have a passion about something, let's call it energy. Now you can understand in your own life how you're feeling energy, but we're calling it interest. We're calling it, I have a passion for this. If you have a passion for something, if you have a keen interest in something, I can almost guarantee you've had a past life around it. If you have a keen revulsion about something or a phobia about spiders or sharks or heights or ships or planes or whatever, I can almost guarantee you had a past life where something didn't go so well regarding that thing that you have an uneasiness about or a phobia of. It's your past life. So now where does discernment come in? Discernment comes in because I needed to figure this out, right? I needed to separate. Okay, this is my past life energy, right? That I'm attracted to this topography. But in this life, for whatever reason, and I can get into a little bit of that, I need to go to rivers, streams, and lakes. I have to be in water. If you're a longtime viewer, you know that I often see myself having lived a life in a different type of existence, i.e., not human, as some sort of amphibian or frog. So maybe I wasn't a frog. Maybe I was an alien frog. I don't know. All I know is I was sitting in water and I was happy. I never had to get out of the water and I was happy, right? So in this lifetime, I'm going to drop into it for you regarding me and water, because this is something that I literally, you guys, I just all discovered this morning. I'm sitting around going, if you guys could please like give me a wow video topic, that'd be really great, because, like there's really good hikes out there and I'm kind of busy. So can y'all hurry up? Right. So this is what happened. I'm on a hike and the whole thing downloaded to me. Okay. So now I have this new information that literally is hours old. It's literally 3 hours ago. I got all this information. I put those puzzle pieces together, and out of the 7 million mile puzzle that is our lives, I'm on the corner. I've got like one little corner figured out. That's okay, right? That's okay. That's why they give you multiple lifetimes to figure the stuff out, right? I never forget them telling me that. I'm like, no, I don't need more lifetimes. So let me drop into the water information. So in this incarnation of my life, now, not only I need water, that is a very important thing to my soul, right? Not just to Susan in this incarnation, but apparently to my soul, water is very important. And even though I had this fantastic, wonderful life in the high desert where I didn't have to deal with people, that was a one-off, and yeah, that was great, but you got to get back over here and get back on track. Okay. So for me, what water does is it's a transmitter. It is, we know that that it conducts electricity, right? We know that about water. It conducts electricity, and electricity is energy, and energy is emotion, right? Everything is energy. But me being around water, what they're telling me is it's going to help me. It's going to like hook me up to, it's almost like they're showing me that I'm hooked up to, I don't know what it is. I'm not a physician. I'm not anything in the healthcare. Thank God for any patients that could potentially have gotten me. That was one thing I figured out at least, but I'm hooked up to like hoses or wires, like it's life support. So in this incarnation, water is life support for me, but not in a way that you might think, well, Susan's going to die if she doesn't have water. It's actually a recirculating of my energy with the guides energy, with the cosmos energy. It elevates me, it refuels me, it re-energizes me. I don't know how to describe what they're showing me. Maybe that was enough of a description. So I'm running on empty, right? I mean, I've always lived near water, right? I grew up in Louisville, Kentucky, which I said it like a foreigner. I guess I'm a foreigner now. But I grew up in Louisville, Kentucky, 5 minutes from the Ohio River, right? So I've always lived kind of adjacent or near water. And I do much better when I'm near water. But it's not the end all be all, because right now in Texas, I live near water and I can't stay there, right? And it's not just that it's a red state, it's that it's energetically not vibrationally working for me. Okay, so don't also think that, oh, you just need to move near a mountain or move near nature or move near water. Again, discernment. This is my Goldilocks tour lesson. Okay, Susan, you've been begging us for nature. You've been begging us for mountains. Here you go, girlfriend. Well, I can't quite get comfortable anywhere for some reason. And frankly, it's driving me a little bit crazy, to be honest with you. When you want something and there it is, but it doesn't feel right. You know what I mean? That is a very weird space to be in, but it's about discernment for me. Right? Okay, Susan, is the mountain and even if there is a stream or a lake, is this it? It's not it. I need more than just that. So it's about the discernment. So in your life, if you're drawn to something and then it doesn't work, or you're drawn to something and yet you're sort of drawn and repelled, use your discernment. Drop into that energy. Sit with that energy. Allow Take yourself somewhere where you can be offline, like me, on the side of the road with no internet, no nothing. Take yourself somewhere, put your phone in your, car and lock it, and then walk to a picnic table and sit down for 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes. And then do that again in a week, and then do that again. What you're doing is you're creating spaces over and over again for guidance. And I'm telling you, you'll start getting answers to the problems or the issues or the concerns that you have in your own life. But you have to use your own discernment. You have to sort of work through it on your own. The spirit guides will help you, they'll guide you. But this is expert school. When you're learning, it's not going to help anybody if we all get all the answers, right? You can get some of the answers. You can get readings. You can do your own cards. So there's many ways that you can get guidance. Many ways. And this is what they talked about in the very beginning of the video. Write it down. At the end of a month, you're going to read that stuff and you're going to be like, whoa, I'm telling you, it's shocking. It's shocking. It all starts to make sense. Now, when you get that guidance, whether or not you can take action on it is another thing, right? That's another whole block, another whole problem. Because when we get the guidance and we know in our heart and our gut that it's true, yet we don't want it to be true, right? We don't want it to be true. And then we're stuck. That's the definition of being stuck right there. So the first thing to do is just be gentle with yourself. You can say, okay, I acknowledge this guidance. You just have to acknowledge you received it. I received it. Duly noted. Then you can close your journal or shut your laptop, and then you can go out and forget about it. But the guides know you received the guidance. Your subconscious knows you received the guidance. Things are starting to turn slowly, but they are starting to turn. You have information you didn't have before. You've acknowledged it. That means everything. Now what will happen is the guides will slowly start helping you by giving you more information, and you can ask for help. You can say, now I've received this information. Thank you. I'm in gratitude for this message. Can I please ask that I receive more guidance on steps to take? And if you're like me, you're going to be like, the problems I got with this. Y'all know how I feel about that. So you better just help me out because give me something that'll work here, right? And you could tell them, y'all know I don't feel like I can do this, or I don't feel like I can do that. So please help me know how I can do it. Please let me know if I can go around it. Please help me know if I need to do it now. Thank you in advance for this guidance, right? And then just forget about it. But continue to leave openings. Continue to go offline so that they can speak to you. Continue to write down your signs and your messages. Now, so hopefully this has helped you a little bit to know how to discern things, right? Now, when your guides are giving you information, you may have to discern what they mean. Like when they told me you shouldn't go to New Mexico, and I'm like, why? And I get no answer. So sometimes when the guides give you guidance, you have to discern. It's up to you to figure it out. And honestly, you might figure it out right here at this point in your timeline. And then a year later, when you've grown or you've accomplished, grown, tackled, gone through some things, whatever, expanded your consciousness by going through some things, some challenges, you may have a whole new understanding of that lesson. That's completely different. A year from now, I might have a completely different understanding of why I shouldn't be living in the high desert. A year from now, I might go through an entire cycle of learning and understand even in a very completely different way that I can't understand right now. So allow that as well. We don't have all the answers. I don't have all the answers. Humans don't have all the answers. Be honest with you, I don't think our guides have all the answers. I think, they're assigned to us to help us with this purview. And even if they had all the answers, again, what teacher is going to give you all the answers? What kind of student would you be? How much would you learn? Right? So it's important to be gentle with yourself while you're learning, to not judge yourself. Don't be harsh on yourself. This is a difficult place. This is a beautiful place. It's a sought after place. It's a 5-star planet. I know that sounds crazy, but it really is, because our soul gets to experience such a bountiful amount of experiences here, unlike any other existence. That means we get to experience the lowest of the lows and the highest of the highs. Again, we did a video about this where they talked about pianos. If you're going to play a song using only the low notes, well, that's a very limited song. But if you can play the piano, if you can play the notes in your life, if you can understand that there's low notes, there's medium notes, there's high notes, and you can understand that your life is best when everything is experienced, that you get a much more pleasing song, a much more intricate song, a much more masterful song. Okay. I'm going to leave this because the guides would literally talk for 5 hours straight. I swear to God, they would. I know they will, because I've done classes where they've talked for 2 hours straight. I know this. So I'm going to end this video now. The Virgo in me really wants there to be charts, graphs, videos, memes, but no, I have to just sit back while Spirit rambles for a long time. So there's a little bit of a disconnect there. I'm sure this was all planned before I came here, right? Oh yeah, you're going to be a Virgo, but yet you're going to have to just be this loosey-goosey channeling person that talks about all kind of topics that don't make any sense, and you don't even know what you just said. You'll love it, they said. Okay, listen, thanks again for tuning into this Way Out Wednesday. I value you so much, and I really value your comments. I've told you guys before, but I'm going to say it, I hope, every video, and that is, leave a comment, but read the comments. Go back to the WOW videos that I've done and read the comments. The comments are phenomenal. You people are phenomenal. Your understanding of what we're going through as humans is phenomenal. Your experiences are phenomenal. I don't know who you guys are, but you guys are way ahead of me. So thank you so much for leaving comments below. We all learn when we all share. Okay. Take really good care. I'll see you again next Wednesday.